We're going to take a run through an ELO in Persian Farsi. We're going to take a look at how the templates have adjusted for the right to left content. We're also going to take a look at all the functionality that goes into handling all the right to left content as well. We're also going to take a look at a new exercise, the close exercise, and that should be pretty much everything. So we're going to jump into the module right now. Okay, so we don't have an intro video in place, but we can go to the ELO page. So the first thing to note is that everything is in the target language is going to be aligned right to left, and it's also going to be using the proper font that we used in the previous iteration of the IMI. So when we're typing in something into here, just for example, if I were to type in test, it's going to come out backwards, right? Because it's set up the proper way. So that's kind of the lay of the land for what we're going to be looking at. Everything is going to be adjusted the proper way. So let's jump into an actual module now, and we can get started with the reading. Okay, so the first thing to note with the reading is that we are going to take a look at the actual new editor that we've installed into the application. So one of the main concerns that we had was the ability to manipulate certain instances of text or words or phrases that needed to be adjusted within the actual content itself. So we've added this functionality where whenever you highlight something, you get a menu that appears underneath. So in here you can do a select set of formatting. You can bold the text.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Yeah.
You can bold, you can set things to be italics, but the real advantage here is that when we have something that needs to be left or right, we can highlight it, and now we have a button here that will allow us to switch it. So, okay. So essentially though, in all these regions now, you're going to be able to manipulate the text however you see fit in terms of formatting. So when you do have an instance like that in a template where you do need to convert it to left or right, you can do that.
Okay, can you just stop it there? Because I think the numbers haven't been fixed. The numbers are reverse.
Right, and so actually this is a great opportunity. The number in the parentheses below.
Yeah, we saw some numbers down below, and then okay, stop there. Yes, yeah, the numbers are reverse. Yeah.
Yes. So could you reverse those and let's see what it looks like.
Oh yeah, no. So this is a string that I have copied and pasted in. So yeah, those are not gonna flip. They look like they're in the wrong format though. So it looks like I can't see what the actual number is supposed to be.
Okay, you just fixed the number in yeah, that number is fixed.
Oh, okay.
But all the other numbers in the text are reverse.
Right.
Only that one was fixed. I don't know what you did.
So that's using that tool, right? So you highlight the number, you hit the left to right tool, and it switches it.
So we do with all numbers?
Wherever you would need to. You can just highlight and change it. So
we need to do all the numbers.
Right. So
wherever it's in the text.
Right. So you're going to have to highlight the numbers that you see and then switch them using this button. So you highlight it, then you hit the button, and that switches it. So by default, it's not going to do it automatically. You would have you have to highlight everything and do it manually.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Okay. And I know that I just grabbed this article and I kind of dropped it in. I had not gone through
now I have a suggestion. can you select all, the entire article, Control A, and then do the alignment to right to left?
Well, it's by default, it's going to be right to left.
Well, select again and then do it right to left again.
But there is no option for right to left, right? So you can select, what you can do is this, right? But it's not going to let you do that because you're trying to manipulate too much at once. It's really designed to be looking for a single instance, right? It's not really meant to be handling this huge content.
So what happens to if you right click now? Nothing? When it is selected.
What about a paragraph or a sentence? Is that too much?
No, a sentence should work, right?
Okay,
Sentence or a paragraph. So the way that this editor works is that it's designed in what they call blocks, right? So each paragraph in turn would be a block. So you could go in and you could highlight all of this if you really wanted to and switch it, but that's not going to put it in the right format, right? I mean, the tool is really designed to be looking for specific instances where you need to switch it back to left to right within a right to left format. So by default, it's already set to be right to left. But then if there is an instance like a number or let's say an acronym that you need to switch back to left to right, you highlight it, then you switch it.
Okay.
Okay, so that pretty much covers the reading. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. Just enter in content same way you normally would. So let's look at the vocabulary exercise because this has changed too. Okay, so once again we have that everything by default is set to right to left. Within each of these fields though, per term, you have the option of switching it to right to left, or left to right, sorry. But you also have the option of setting something up to be underlined. So when you are trying to, and essentially what this is what you're underlining is the word that's going to be on the left. In this instance, we're talking about the templates that are where you have to fill in the blank, right? So this underline functionality would kind of accommodate for that. So when we then take this content out of this application and migrate it to the IMI, what in turn is going to happen is that we will look for these underlined portions and we are going to replace them with a blank. So this is the way that you would do that, right? You would highlight the word that you want. That word should be the exact same as what's over here on the left. And that's really just for that specific instance. The other four templates should be relatively straightforward, where it would just be the left to right tool that you would use or any other formatting that you would really need. But the other thing to note too is that with this template, when you select up here, there's three dots that come up when you're focused in on a specific row. And what you can do is you can manipulate the order of the actual exercise as well. So let's say we have a word that's at the very bottom, or we have a row that's at the bottom that we want to be at the top. So using this little GUI here on the right, we can push that all the way to the top. Or if we need to delete a row that we said, okay, this row isn't going to be applicable anymore. Let's delete one without the underline. We can delete it. We have to click twice, but once you do that, it removes it. And to get to a new instance of a row, you can do two things. You can either click on the very bottom right below it, or you can hit the enter key while you're in the current row, and that'll add another row. So that just gives you a little bit more flexibility with the actual template itself. So I'm going to delete these. I've manipulated the order. I'm going to save it. Cool. So I know it was saved. So now the next time I go back to it, it should be in that order. So if I go to the reading real quick and then go back, yep, we can see that that's changed. So more so what we're going to be looking at next is more of that. So let's go to I believe this is multiple choice. Yeah. So with this new content editor, the one thing that is going to change is that we cannot have carousels anymore. Well, at least at this point, we can't in the Storyboard tool. So in the IMI, the carousel will still exist. But with this editor, the way that it's designed is that it's all in one piece. So all these questions are sitting in one editor, and that's kind of important, because if we want to have the ability to manipulate stuff, we kind of need to have it sit in this one section. So instead of having everything kind of paginate left to right, what we've done is just set it up so that you can add questions just like we were doing with the vocabulary instances, right? Where we're adding and we can delete or move them up and down. So you still get all the same functionality that you were getting before, where you can manipulate any highlighted text that you have made or any selection that you've made. You can adjust it to be left to right if need be, and that's really kind of important for this language, just because if there is a one-off instance where you do need to switch it, you now have the ability to do so. But you're still getting the same exact template as before. Everything's going to be aligned exactly the same. So yeah, and we've kind of expanded upon this functionality across the board. So now we have the ability. I know Wayne had made a comment last time that in some of these constructed response examples, you need to have more than one. So now you can. All you got to do is just add one. And essentially, you could really add as many as you see fit. And you could also kind of manipulate the order or however you really want to do that. But the point is that now these templates are a little bit more flexible with what you can actually format, what you can actually edit in terms of setting things to be the right alignment. And I'm going to go to one more. So we've covered two tools, right? We've got the left to right alignment covered. We also covered the underlining portion. So I want to go to one more, and it will be the new activity as well. So this should be another vocab, and this one. Okay, so this is the new template that we were going to look at. This is the close activity, and the way that we had done this before in the IMI. Let me grab the IMI so that way we have a reference to look at. I'll go to the page real quick. Okay. So the way that this is set up, you have I'm going the wrong way. You have a paragraph or two paragraphs or so that you have to fill in the blank based on a drop down, right? And you have these different options that are based off of the options that are available here. So you're trying to you're essentially completing the paragraph, right, through these drop down options. So in the Storyboard, we've done it in a similar fashion, right, where you have a word. Let's say you have a word that you want to make into a drop down, and that's going to be the correct term for it to use. You have another button here that denotes that it's going to be a drop down. So you select that, and now we've marked it as a drop down. So when the IMI is built out, we're going to look for all these tags that have this drop down content in it, and it'll turn it into the drop down that you see here. And it'll give you all the options, and you have to complete the exercise to make sure that it's the right word in the right spot. So with this editor, using that one interaction where you're just highlighting text, depending on the template, you'll have a different set of functionalities that you can apply, and really just those three core ones are the main ones. You need to be able to switch it to left or right, and that should be applicable to almost all the templates. In this example, you can wrap things in a drop-down instance, And in the vocab exercise where you need to add a blank, you can highlight the word that you want and you can underline it. So that way we know, okay, when we parse this to the IMI, it's going to then create that blank space for us. So that pretty much concludes the new functionality and looking over everything that's going to be, formatted to be aligned to the right, and making sure that we're adhering to that.